Okay, Brian, are you ready to go?
Is Dr. Weston coming or not?
Oh,
6:01.
Laura, did you hear from Dr. Weston at all? I did not.
I did not hear from Wade today, no, I'm sorry, but we,
Okay,
oh, you know what, he was away on, Tuesday, he may still be away.
okay,
I'm not sure when he's returning.
okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so we do have a quick agenda and highlights for tonight. So without further ado, Chief Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Good evening. Just a couple of updates we wanted to run by you for this week, for this month, pardon me. Bus Patrol went live this week, so Tuesday was our first school day of the week. Today was the first day they released any of the data, so I happened to check it today when Joe and I were together. So there were 4 violations yesterday already, so those will rack up pretty quickly. We will be doing some follow-up and some cleanup, if you will, with regards to how the system works with the bus company, with our staff. But already this morning, as I said, 4 violations that occurred. Today's data was not downloaded at the time we checked it, so there may be more tomorrow morning, but I'll take a look at it at that point. But we'll be going through that and, again, probably issuing a few more public announcements as the end of the school year approaches, just about that information with regards to it. But it seems to be working fine. We had our team of officers trained in how to search the violations and how to determine whether or not it's clearly a violation, and then we'll be following up with those. And most of the back end work, as you know, is taken on by Bus Patrol. So that's where we are with that. We did meet with the 2 local jurisdictions about sharing responsibility with both Collegeville Borough and Lower Frederick Township, and they are interested in partnering with us in that responsibility. So we'll be moving forward with that within the next month to 2 months, hopefully bringing that agreement before the summer, if we can work out the deal and information with the solicitors of both the district and those municipalities. So, and that would be sharing a portion of the revenue with each of those jurisdictions. $25 per violation would go to the jurisdiction in that case. And then we would take on the responsibility of the other 4 municipalities within the district. Mr. Liggett, do you have a question?
Are you sharing the responsibility there just to lighten the workload on that? Is that
A little bit of both. They had asked us, and I'll take part of the responsibility for this. When we were researching this, the state police didn't want to do it. And then we went through the process of getting our ORI, and then there was some legislative work that needed to be done on the background to clean it up a bit before we accepted it. And in that conversation, we had let both municipalities know we were moving in this direction. And as we rolled it out, when the state backed off, we kind of just put that all aside and said, all right, we have our own responsibility, we'll do that. So, but Chief Barnshaw and Chief Gass both reached out, and we're going to allow them to do it within their jurisdictional boundary. The nice part about Bus Patrol is they do what's called geofencing on their mapping. So the areas that are within their responsibility, they'll take on. And then if there's any questions or whatever, we can work cooperatively together on that. So, but we are going to share that responsibility with them probably, I'm thinking by the time of the new school year starts next fall. So, we were having conversation about the use and deployment of the part-time school police officer and a part-time school security guard. So we're working through that with HR, and we'll be rolling that out, that portion of the transition that you had approved at the general meeting earlier this month. So we'll report on that as we move forward. Several of our team will be going to the PASRO, that's the Pennsylvania School Resource Officer Training Conference in Harrisburg at the end of June. So we do have some of our training monies left over this year, so we'll be sending probably 5 of our team to that. We've been attending the last 2 years. It's actually some very good training pertaining directly to school safety and security. They have some internationally or national speakers that will be there this year, so we're looking forward to it, and hopefully bring back, some new contacts as well as some new protocols and things that we can be working towards. Yes, Ms. Knight.
Is that a certificate bound training or is it more of a seminar?
It's an attendance-based training. I mean, there can be some con ed applied to that depending on the depth of the speaker, and that's something that I would have to check with the training council that governs law enforcement, as well as, if anything would carry over to, let's say, CPI training or things of that nature. But there are some opportunities for that, and this is a growing conference. This is, I think it's like in the 7th or 8th year,
Okay.
but obviously it's a growing trend, so they're working towards those things. And the state president is currently Dr. Beth Sanborn, who's also the county's representative to school safety, so we have a good contact and connection with her about using these kinds of opportunities to our benefit.
Great. I asked only because not everybody's going, so if it was a
Right.
certificate.
Well, we have 10-month employees and 12-month employees,
Oh,
and so
gotcha.
and what I did last year when they went is I offset some of their required days to attend that conference and counted it, as training credit. And then some already have other opportunities that they're doing with their families over the summer. They weren't available, so. Sure. I mentioned the bus patrol MOU. Don't want to really have to say anything more about that. This month, our school police officer, Michelle Knabb, was approved by the courts and sworn in by Justice Rebar on April the 15th. So she is all set and good to go. She's out at Middle School East and doing a tremendous job for us already. Her office looks more like a mini cafeteria, but the kids seem to love it, so we're going to go with that. And our trading cards are in, which I just shared with Ms. White, and I have a set here for each of you gentlemen if you care to have a set. And they've been a big hit, although a little more popular in the lower grades than the higher grades. Not too many high school kids are asking for cards just yet. But we've seen a lot of positive from that. Mr. Weaver, do you want to talk through this part of it?
Sure. So part of the conversation that we've been having at the administrative level has been how to deploy properly the part-time SPO and SSGs, as Chief Miller mentioned in the previous slide, and what that may mean for our current APC contract. To bring you up to speed, we are in the second year of a 3-year contract, soon to be in the third year. And that covered a total of about 245 hours per week. And that was the original design that we had with that contract from several years ago. With the addition of the part-time SPO and SSGs and the current staffing flexibility that is now upon us, we have the ability to go back and reduce those contracted hours. So we engaged with a revised contract with Brian Gailey from APC and said, hey, this is where we're at right now. This could really help us out from the perspective of an ongoing relationship. And we feel that we can have everything covered as is with these two part-time individuals here at the high school. So we requested a reduction in hours. We sat down with Brian, worked out the details, and so we're going from 245 hours per week down to 110 hours per week. We feel that that is adequate, and we can cover exactly what we need to do throughout the district with these. That, of course, drives savings from a contracted services perspective, which help to offset some of those additional costs for the part-time SPO and SSG, which is also helped by Mr. Haran's retirement. So all of those monies are now going into that pot of personnel that we've been talking about at the school board level. And so we would recommend this change. We have the contract. There is no change to the overall dollar figure that was scheduled anyway. It was supposed to go from $26 to $27 per hour. There is no change in the hours, dollars per hour, and we are recommending that to the committee, and then we'll go forward with school board approval if you would approve that. Okay, seeing thumbs up. Thank you so much on that. Okay, now I'll switch over to Mr. Fabrizio.
Good evening, everyone. First, we have a broken window at the high school that needed to be replaced. That needs to be replaced. It's in the back hallway upstairs. The cost to do this is $6,495, which will come from my repair and maintenance budget. It was originally broken during the construction back, I guess when they did the square, that was the main window they used to bring materials in and out, and I guess it was never repaired. So that's that. Yes, Ms. White.
So there are several of the same window in that corridor, that hallway there. I think maybe possibly 3. I don't know. I'm not.
I believe so. There's a number of them.
So I just am wondering if there's value to actually just replacing the windows in that hallway. You know?
I can certainly take a look at that.
Yeah, only because, we're going to do one and then they're all
Yes.
sort of the same. And then the other thing that we had been talking about in our most recent high school walkthrough, as we looked at this area, and then I know you're working on the floor situation there, if it would be possible, and I don't know what type of window this quote includes, but it would be nice if they would be operable, so there would be some sort of like a sliding, like a ventilation opportunity to allow for just air, because it's the courtyard. But,
I'll look into that.
okay. I only asked because that was one of the things it was a discussion amongst myself and whoever happened to be standing next to me when I was saying it. We talked about this in a couple of other areas as well. And so hopefully but keep meaning to send an email to you just about doing an overall facilities walk, just to kind of get a little maintenance checklist of like the more fall between the cracks things before they become an emergency.
Sure.
Yeah, but I understand that there's issues specifically with this window with leakage and whatnot, so, got it. Thank you.
Any other questions on that?
Well, one of the things I want to point out to the committee is typically you would not necessarily see this from an operations, repair, and maintenance budget. The reason that it's here is we did not know what the total cost would be, so we put it on there and said if it got too expensive, then we would dip into the capital reserve for general fund, but it's lower than what we expected. But I still felt obligated to put it on there, particularly to that. There's another one in here. Okay. All right. There is another one a little bit later on too, I think.
Our next slide is gutter replacement. This is due to some ice damming we had. This is at the high school on the comp gym. It's a pretty significant piece of gutter, and as well as an elevation to replace it. So Jotten Roofing would come in and do that for $4,229, and that again will come out of my operations and maintenance budget. Any questions on that? Next slide, Mr. Weaver. And the prices keep going up. So this is a repair we need to do on we call it the old elevator, the original elevator in the high school here. The piston or the jack, I kind of pulled a little diagram for you so you can see what I'm talking about, is leaking hydraulic oil. So they need to secure the car at the top of the hoistway, suspend it, disconnect the jack, pull the sleeve out of the ground and put a new sleeve in, pretty much, for $59,900. This is a CoStar's vendor. And funds will come out of the capital projects reserve in the general fund. Do we have any questions on that? Yes, over the summer. Next slide. So as you all know, we replaced our ticketing software. It's been over a year now, I guess 2 years ago. Time flies. With FMX. So we're now looking to migrate away from ML schedules and bring that into FMX. So it's all under one umbrella. The cost to do this with implementation would be $14,678.79. We also coordinated with Mr. Ganesh, Mr. Felty. We had a big Zoom meeting with all of the secretaries in the school, so they're all on board with this to move forward with this software replacement. Do you have any questions? Something that came up that I wasn't aware of is we have a walker's path at Evergreen, and there's no curb cut. So I reached out to a CoStar's concrete contractor, Drumheller, for $10,450. They will cut both sides to make it more pedestrian and stroller friendly. Do we have any questions on that? More with elevators. So an elevator is required to have a dedicated phone line for emergency purposes and for ADA capabilities as well. So POTS lines are being deprecated now. Verizon's no longer repairing them. They're phasing them out. They're antiquated. What I'm recommending is through a company called Kings 3. It's an ADA compliant cellular dialer. This will go on the back end. It's 24-hour by 7 by 365 monitoring by their own US-based company. So if someone pushes the button, it calls out to the operator. They have translators available on staff. If they need Spanish or another language, they can translate that, and they'll stay on the phone with you. I mean, I'd have a panic attack myself if I got locked in an elevator, to help keep the person calm, and then phone first responders and anyone else. We provide them in a list. These are backed up via battery, 24-hour battery backup, so if we were to lose power or have some kind of power event, these will still be able to dial out. For them to be ADA compliant, the operator has to be able to call back that number and then dial right into the car. So these will have that capability as well to maintain that ADA compliance. So the cost is $49.91 a month per elevator. We have 8 elevators. That's around $400 a month. This will be offset by the elimination of the POTS lines. So we'll have some savings there. Any questions on that? Yes, Ms. White.
So these are not hardwired then if they're a cell?
No, they're just powered via a small transformer, and they have an internal battery backup.
So I guess my question is, and maybe it's just a separate thing, does it need a cell signal
Yeah.
to you? Okay, so depending on where the elevators are, sometimes in the buildings they expect not super strong cell signal.
So the company, for the $49.91, they cover everything: install, maintenance, making sure it works.
Okay.
So that's all part of this cost.
Okay, so they'll make sure
They
that
won't
this is
install it.
No,
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, just some parts of the building have
Yeah.
kind of different cell service.
I mean, they might need to put a remote antenna on it to
Sure.
get it higher
A
up in the
booster,
building.
but they're the ones that take care.
Yep.
This is their product. They make sure it works.
Yep.
Got it.
So I did poll.
That's better, actually.
I'm on an email group with a bunch of other directors in Montgomery County and polled them to see what everyone else is using, and they came up quite often in our discussions. So this is just an overview of kind of the Kings 3 versus all the other companies, just so you can see. And that's all I have for that. Mr. Weaver.
Okay, Mr. Ganesh.
It is going to. All right, good evening, everyone. I want to share a quick update on the auditorium project progress. As you might recall, last month we reported that we hit the pause button on this project due to some discrepancies in the scope of the project and the cost. We have since then went back to the drawing board to reassess the situation, had further conversations with the current vendor, also brought in 4 additional new contractors or new vendors who are qualified in this area, and have received co-star proposals from them, new proposals. So we are at this point reviewing these proposals with the end users of the auditorium, mainly the show directors and the AV operators, to make sure it not only meets their current needs, but also the future expectation, as it's a significant investment, and we expect this project to last or serve as well for at least the next decade or two. So very pleased with the progress we are making on that level, and our plan is to bring a recommendation to the board in May, and if no surprises, have the project completed by December, all the work done. So that is a plan so far. And on the left, on the graphic there, that's all the lights that are involved in the phases 1, 2, and 3. The legend shows that, and those are the lights that we're planning to replace. Those are the various different kinds of lights that we will be replacing in these phases. Jim, if you want to go to the next slide, please. So West is a similar story. West has a little bit more things going on for there. The The stage at West needs to be resurfaced and painted, and West also needs a new sound system, for which we have gotten proposals as well. So at this point, I know last month we hit the pause button, but happy to report that the project is back on track and expect to be completed on time. And really thankful for the committee's support during this process. Any questions? Sorry.
So this is to wrap up the big bubble of everything that we had been kind of leading up to this point, correct? So I guess my question is really, were there wish list items above and beyond this scope that could maybe be mapped out and incorporated in like a 2 to 3 year plan, or
Yeah.
if there's still items that are open?
Right. So we do have a comprehensive list of, we are planning a comprehensive list of upgrades to the space. So beyond whatever is going to be covered in phases 2 and 3, there's going to be curtains, there's going to be highlights are going to be fixed. So this will address, if everything goes well, this will address a majority of the auditorium items. Curtains would be something that we need to come back and address again. Those would be something, not a big ticket item, but something that can be addressed relatively quickly. And our plan is to kind of have that taken care of this calendar year or this upcoming school year. So that is a plan.
Thank you so much
Yep,
for the work
absolutely. Thank you. Right.
Thanks, Karthik. Mr. Fabrizio.
Just to keep everyone updated, this is kind of a high-level overview of some of the projects we're doing this summer. We're in tens of millions this summer, so it's going to be very busy. We're still on track for the ESCO. The interior door lock replacement project is winding down nicely. ESCO, we're on track. I've been meeting with contractors. They're doing survey work. We're actually going to be in East and West next week to do some preliminary fire alarm work, second shift. Our camera upgrade with the Genetech software is underway. We've spec'd out the cameras. The chief and I have sat down and went through the building's marked up maps and sent that back to our integrator. They've since ordered the hardware, so we hope to have that completed by the end of this summer. The door replacements at East, that is coming up soon. And the fire panels at Evergreen, East, and West, we're still planning to do those, as well as the student parking lot paving. The football storage structures, the POs have been sent out, as well as the first 10 of the storage shed replacement plan. That's still underway. I have permits in hand for the football shed already, so we're good to go on that front. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Any questions?
Joe, sorry, bring us up to speed on the Evergreen Playground.
Yes, so I have temporary fencing being delivered on the 28th. We'll get that installed to keep the kids out while we rip out the structures, and we have to dig down to virgin soil. The following week, Lines Recreation, I'm just pulling up my calendar here, will be on site to start the installs, which will take approximately a week. PVSD Operations will be responsible for reinstalling fresh certified playground mulch. It's insane. We need a couple 100 yards of mulch. So it's based on, there's a calculation for height and depth of the mulch. So if a kid falls off, they don't get injured. So
Another note to that, absolutely. Mr. Marsh is thrilled because he made a promise to his fifth graders that they would at least have some time on the brand new playground because they've been there. So
let me pull. So they're coming. Bear with me 1 second. I got to pull up my chart here. I believe it's the second week in May. So I think by May 16th it'll be ready to go at the latest. Any other questions?
Okay, that's all we have to present tonight. Do you have any other questions? Oh, just a note, as far as the one thing that we need to get for the whole board, I was unable to get, was a total listing of our capital project monies available. So I just wanted to put that out there. We should have plenty to cover, obviously, by plan and design, with some spare. So just want to keep that up and just let you know that I'll be sharing that at the full school board meeting. Just need a little bit more time to get everything in order.
So as far as what we're bringing forward in May that needs an approval, the only thing, because the other things are coming out of budgets, so those don't need a separate approval, correct? So it's just the auditorium is the only, like,
The elevator.
oh, the elevator phone
Elevator
thing.
jack, the APC amendment, contract amendment.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. To amend for the part-time. Got it. Okay. And then, so this one, and then the elevator. Okay. And so then, the other things that have previously, you mentioned this, the football shed, the fleet replacement. Everything's good with that? Awesome.
My fleet replacement is complete.
Your fleet replacement is complete. Okay. I love that answer. Oh, and the only other question that I was wondering if there were communications sent out, and everything was tied up about East coming offline, the day that that is going to happen. Do you have it? In other words, do you have a date that that is going to happen?
Yes, it is going to be. After the last teacher day. Is that June 18th? 17th.
Okay, because I know we have graduation, right? And then I know that there is another event that the school is hosting the weekend after that.
Yep.
And then there'll be one more week.
Right.
I know, okay, because we were talking about Power Packs running their first pantry and the movement of the Power Packs materials from east to another location. So I don't know. That's sort of, it's just a rider to the operations. I don't, has anybody had a conversation with you about any of that yet? Okay, so then we'll send a separate email following up on that.
We'll follow up.
Okay. Thank you. Great job, guys.
Thank you all. Have a great night.